You know, Bob Arum has already went on record multiple times and stated that he's losing out on money when it comes to promoting, fighters like Terrence Crawford, and his, top prize possession, Vasyl Lomachenko, lost to Teofimo Lopez. So it's like he's ran out of options at this point, and I already knew that. From my estimation, I think that Al Heyman did a phenomenal job at freezing Bob Arum out and forcing him to, because Sean Porter went on record and said that he made comments of how he framed it was Al Heyman is monopolizing the whole boxing world to where he's going to force Terrence Crawford, because I would like to see if Terrence Crawford, I would like for them to go out there and to apologize to all of the Errol Spence supporters or just the boxing community as a whole, for them constantly trolling, because they take things personal. Like, you see them, there's channels that's predicated on like destroying Errol Spence's image. With me, with Terrence Crawford, I don't take anything personal. Like, Terrence Crawford as a person, I don't know Terrence Crawford as a person. I don't know his sister. I don't know his family. So I know how to separate the two. And people don't know how to differentiate the two when it comes to boxing and a person's personal life. They get too involved with it. And I blame, a lot of the sports media outlets and these sports media platforms by always talk about these fighters, personal lives. So when you get mad about the business side and we talk about, the fighter's purse splits and things like that, that comes with the sport. But when you talk about things like they got Errol Spence, his first baby mama singing, and look at Errol Spence's first baby mom, she sings, and Errol Spence's baby mom is pretty, and this one can do this, and like, y'all want to destroy and attack this man's character so bad that you got to focus on things outside of boxing. Like him drinking, that ain't got nothing to do with me. If Terrence Crawford took a drink or smoke, I'll only be bringing up Terrence Crawford, like if he get out of shape or something like that, I'll bring that up only because I'm trying to show the fans that, like, the Terrence Crawford, the blood lovers is what I call them, to show them that that stuff is petty. So you disliking it, how could you have the nerve to dislike that video when you constantly attack Errol Spence? And these are people who, they play victim all the time. They want to smack people, but then when somebody turn around and steal them, you smack me. Like, those the type of people, and I can't deal with people like that. I'm a straight shooter, and I'm an honest person. But when it all comes down to is, if Terrence Crawford goes over to PBC, then it's going to, like, really make y'all look like, put y'all foot in y'all mouths. It's like y'all, as I said, put your foot in your own mouth, because it looks stupid. It make y'all look stupid if he goes there and sign with the same people when they were saying, he ducking, PBC fighters are ducking him and all this, and it's PBC, therefore put the point to blame at PBC. Then he goes over there and join them. What does that say about Terrence Crawford? And that means that we were right the whole time. You get what I'm saying? So don't get me wrong, I think that Terrence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a great fighter. But Errol Spence is just phenomenal on all levels. Like, it's no one way you can defeat Errol Spence. That's how great of a fighter he is. I'm telling you, like, he's a great fighter. And I'm gonna break down, me and the guy. It was one of the subscribers that I was talking to. It wasn't a subscriber. I don't know. It was a fan that me and him was having a conversation about how people underestimate Errol Spence's boxing ability and other assets to his boxing game that is never spoken about. I wish he came up here so we can actually have a live chat and we could talk, to each other, about that, because a lot of people don't understand that side of Errol Spence and his boxing ability. But and the other attributes of his game. But, like I said, Terrence Crawford has made his bed, so he gotta lay in the mess that he created. You have no other options. They talk about him fighting in September. Fighting who? What you gonna do? I think Bob Arum is going bankrupt, and they're using this whole pandemic thing as an excuse, as a way to cover up how they're going broke. ESPN is going broke. No matter how much they try to, flip it and try to, cover it up, they are going broke. ESPN is going broke. And, Terrence Crawford, Bob Arum and Top Rank don't know how to build fighters over there. Al Heyman does. And I know it comes off as I'm pro-Al Heyman, but it's just that I recognize talent, and I understand you know, the business moves that he made. I seen what he did with Floyd Mayweather career, and I see what he's doing. I see the moves that he's making with Errol Spence. All Errol Spence has to do is go out there and fight. Al Haymon is going to make sure that Errol Spence is the, you know, looked at as one of the greatest fighters in the world. You know, he's going to put him in position. He's like, look, I'm gonna just put you in a position. I'm gonna give you the keys. You just gotta go out there and take care of business. And that's what Errol Spence is doing, you know. But Terence Crawford gotta, you know, he gotta learn the hard way. You know, he seems like a guy who's, you know, has a lot of pride, has a lot of ego, and he's gonna do it his way because he felt as though he could take the necessary steps that Errol Spence is taking. He felt like he could carry himself and move like Errol Spence does when his career isn't a reflection of, or it doesn't mirror the success that Errol Spence has had in his career. You know, so I take my hat off to Terence Crawford and what he's trying to do. I would never disrespect him as a human outside of the ring. But when it comes to inside that ring, I'm gonna be critical until he gets in there, because like I said, he could have faced Shawn Porter. He could have got in there and faced Shawn Porter. But he didn't want to do that because he knew that it's a high chance that he could lose. Bob Arum probably got in his ear and said, hey, we don't want to go the direction of facing Shawn Porter because we know what's at stake if we lose against him. He could take that belt over to, you know, to Al Haymon, the PBC, and Errol Spence could get a rematch, and it'll be a bigger match if Shawn Porter rematches Errol Spence. You get what I'm saying? So we'll just see where it goes from here. You know, I think that Terence Crawford has put himself in a difficult position. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all get in that comment box. I subscribe. I'm out.